From BBC Radio Scotland, this is Sports Sound.
Don't be stupid, boys. Turn off Clyde, support your side.
I would like to leave this city. This old town don't smell too pretty, and I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. And when I leave this island, I book myself into a soul asylum, 'cause I can feel the warning signs running around my mind. So here I go, still scratching around in the same old hole. My body feels young, but my mind is very old. So what do you say? You can't give me the dreams that are mine anyway.
Good day, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, wherever you are in the world. You're listening to the Half the World Away Celtic podcast from Hail Hail Media. My name's Kevin O'Neill, and I'm based in Mandurah in Western Australia, originally from Coatbrig. And as always, I'm joined all the way over on the other side of the country in Melbourne, Victoria, by good friend, still the housewife's favourite, Mr. Patrick Close. Good day, Pat. G-Day.
G-Day, Kevin Harvey.
Very good, mate. How are you going?
Not too bad. You all sort of settled down after the game last Sunday?
Settled down after last Sunday's victory and winding up for this Saturday's victory, hopefully.
Absolutely.
So it's they're coming thick and fast at all levels of the fixture as well. The youth levels, super youth levels, Glasgow Cup levels.
Yep. SPFL Youth Club. Yeah, the whole shebang. Wiping the floor with them.
Well, it's 100% Hunskelping right across the board.
Yep.
And it's very enjoyable.
Yes, it is. Yes, we'll go into a bit more of that. Obviously, we'll do a bit of a review of the last one and a preview of the one coming up. So it's all good. Who else we got on tonight, Kev?
Absolutely. Who else have we got on? Well, we've got Mr. Paul Nelson over again in Melbourne, Victoria. G'day, Paul.
G'day, Kevin. How are you doing?
Very good, mate. Very good. I suppose you're in the same fettle as ourselves.
Yeah, look, thoroughly enjoyed it, and looking forward to Saturday as well. I think, and in between, as you say, the young development squad and youth teams, it's definitely a good time to be supporting Celtic.
It certainly is, mate. Welcome aboard again, Paul. And all the way up there in Osaka, Japan, we've got Mr. Liam Carrigan. Good day, Liam.
Good day, boys. Hail, hail. How we doing?
Very good, mate. Very good. Now, you were watching the game on Sunday as well, Liam. We were just talking about it before we went live there. You had a nice Celtic TV subscription going on in your pad.
I finally get fed up with trying to chase those dodgy feeds, and I thought I'll just pay for it. So, I was impressed because the last time I used Celtic TV must have been about 10 years ago, and it was like glitchy and freezing, and it got to the point where I would just watch a game 3 hours later and avoid the score, you know. But this was flawless. It's like watching it on Sky. It was really, I was well impressed. Good. Commentary was a wee bit partisan, shall we say?
Ever so slightly partisan. Was it? I take it was Paul Cuddihy and Tom Boyd.
Aye, it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not exactly unbiased, I'd say, the commentary, but I guess it's what you would expect from Celtic TV. It can be quite entertaining sometimes.
I must say, actually, it was quite funny. Somebody posted a video on Facebook the other day. It was the Rangers TV commentary of the 2 goals.
Ah, yes. I think quite a lot of us have seen that.
If anybody wants to look up the dictionary of the meaning of Schadenfreude, she just linked to the 2 videos.
Absolutely. Oh, it was misery. It was absolute misery.
Oh, it was brilliant. Yeah. It couldn't happen to a nicer bunch.
No, absolutely. Well, guys, we'll talk first of all. We're going to try and have a relatively short show tonight. We'll try and keep it to around about the hour or so. We're basically just going to look back over the events of last weekend's fixture. Did it pan out the way we thought it would? And how we enjoyed it, where we watched it, that kind of thing. And we'll look ahead to Saturday's fixture at Ibrox as well, because it's I think it's, as we've just said, it's very good to be a Celtic fan right now. It has been for a number of years, and but there doesn't seem to be anything coming up that's seem to trip us up at all, trip up our enjoyment of being Celtic fans right now. Anyway, so
Damien's in the chat room already saying if you want partisan commentary, apparently Rangers TV is worse. So, I can imagine. Oh, actually, actually thinking about it, I did actually catch some of the Rangers TV commentary, and apparently the penalty was a brilliant tackle.
Yes, I did. He was calling that, and then he was shocked that he actually awarded a penalty.
I know. The squeal that he let up when the penalty was given was utter brilliant. Just like, oh my God, he's given a penalty.
It was farcical.
Oh God, yeah,
farcical stuff. But Pat, where did you watched it with the Jock Stein CSC last Sunday? Yeah,
we did. Yeah, there was a very good turnout for late on a Sunday night. The next day wasn't a bank holiday, and I would say probably 130, 150 folk there, as I guess. It was,
that's not bad for a Sunday night.
Yeah, it was. The place was buzzing. The atmosphere was superb. It was the Green Brigade of Melbourne. Jesus, I heard these guys. And honestly, I reckon the Scott St Clair song must have got sung about 50 times, and every single time it was the same. The same level of enjoyment, the same gusto, and everything. Just people jumping up and down and singing and stuff like that. It was just, it was good atmosphere. Sadly, one of those nights where I was end up driving, just had that much stuff on during the day with kids, sport and stuff. I just went, oh man, it got to late. I don't know, probably 6:30. I went, I'm not even going to make it on time if I don't drive. So I just drove up. It was but good, really good fun.
So what is the pub you watch it in now, Pat?
It's Elephant Peel Barrel in St Kilda. So there's 2 of them in Melbourne. We've had that before. People turning up to the one in the city
the
wrong
one.
Where the hell are you? And where are you guys? Are you upstairs or something? And it's like no, we're about 2 or 3 kilometres away down St Kilda. So so it's on Fitzroy Street in St Kilda, but it's just a massive big room at the back of it. And to be fair to the place, they kind of give us a run of it, more or less from start to finish. We put our music on, and we'll have the same. I'll talk about more at the end. We do shout outs and stuff, but we'll have more of the same on Saturday. We've got
Saturday.
There's a new sort of entertainer, a new singer guy who's going to be entertaining the boys there. In truth, I can't even remember the guy's name, so apologies for that. Paul might know, actually. Paul's been more involved than I have. But he's coming Saturday night. But no, it was just a real good atmosphere. Just everyone was in really good spirits from start to finish, and you could tell it was going to be a good turnout. Just even when I got there pretty early, try to set up flags and all that sort of stuff. There was already a good crowd in the front bar at that stage. So, but no, just real good atmosphere. And luckily, it all came together with the fan pressure, Kev, over the weekend with beIN Sports. We even had a few people asking, did it all come together? So I'm putting it down to the Celtic fans. And getting that game actually broadcast in Australia on cable TV. So
there was certainly a bit of pressure because I think it was, I can't remember, was it the Wednesday morning or Thursday morning when we found out that it might not have been, it certainly hadn't been confirmed. They were still trying to negotiate, but hopefully that added to it. I think there was always a good chance they were going to get there in the end, but who knows how it would have panned out had word not spread. But I know there was a lot of people getting in contact with beIN just to add a bit of weight to their, I don't know, whoever it was they had to negotiate with.
Yep. Well, I'll tell you one thing.
But yeah.
One thing it was was actually chatting to somebody on Saturday, before it and stuff, and it was, I think it was Sean Fitzgerald. I can't quite remember now, but it was the way he kind of look at it was, it's kind of like, if you look at all the tweets and stuff like that BN Sports seem to get and respond to, I would say 95% were Celtic fans. Did you notice that? And it's one of those things again. It's just the typical sort of Rangers way. The typical Rangers way is, we'll just let somebody else fix it. Whereas Celtic fans all get together. There's things going on in Facebook and stuff, right? Everybody get onto these guys and sending emails to them and making phone calls and tweeting them and that sort of stuff. And it's actually just
engaging the brain a little bit.
Yeah, rather than the Huns. I mean, the Huns are obviously just going, do you know what? Well, somebody might. If somebody fixes it for me, I'll watch the game on BN Sports. If not, I'll find another way. But fan power, Kev, we got out there, mate. We did it. So.
I'm sure there was something to it anyway. But no, it was great that we were able to watch it through that channel rather than have to rely on a connection, especially for us watching it in a pub. I know Liam and Paul, you guys managed to watch it on Celtic TV, which is great. But when you're relying on a connection in a pub, when there's so many people could be maybe using their Wi-Fi and stuff like that as well, it's you're never guaranteed a good stream. That's the only thing. But I guess getting on to the game itself, Paul, I know you were watching. You were over in Perth, but you didn't quite manage to get to Rosie's, to the Perth CSC, to watch it. But we could not really have got off to a better start. I don't know if the start was correct, but I saw it written somewhere, and I can't believe that this was correct, but I'd love to believe it. We scored the goal in the 10th minute or the 11th minute.
Yep.
And but up until then, the Huns had only actually managed to make 3 successful passes or touch the ball 3 times. I'd seen that start written somewhere, but I don't know, was it right? But I saw that
as well, yeah.
We were all over them, were we not? It was only a matter of time. It was a fantastic start.
It was exactly the start, I think, that we were looking for. I think from as we said, for the build up to the last game they played, it was, we were brought down to their level, and it was just, kick and rush and all the rest of it, and we had to learn from that and not let them try and dictate that scrappy football. And I think, if that stat's right that you said, because I've seen that as well, they actually took centre as well. So there's one of the passes straight away. So which, look, to be honest, it seemed a bit weird watching that first 15 minutes, because it was it really was utter domination.
It was. Yeah.
The goal was just sublime. It was so it was just like a simple finish. It was simply passed in, executed with people that are working hard together. They knew exactly where. Like McGregor was watching where that ball was potentially going to go, and the two of them just, the combination was fantastic. And obviously before then there was Roberts was getting clearly selected as a key player, and they were looking to just take him out the game at the very start, and I think just that put them on the back foot, and they really, it was a tidal wave, and I thought we from then on the game was never really in doubt. I know they had a few scrappy chances when I think we kind of just relaxed a little bit because the job was done, and they could have sneaked one, but even then, if they'd done that, there wasn't going to be any, for me anyway, it wasn't going to be, any panic or anything like that. We would have just moved into the second gear. So it was great.
Yeah, no, it was. Liam, we mentioned this guy earlier on, the Rangers TV commentator dude, but I think, as Paul mentioned there, for that first goal, I think he had mentioned something along the lines of Dembele took a poor first touch as well, and then, 2 seconds later, they're picking it out the net. But in terms of I think it was Lustig played a long ball through to Dembele. He'd obviously controlled it fantastically well, and his awareness was there to slip it back to McGregor, who he did effectively just pass it into the net. But it was a fantastic start. But as Paul touched on as well, before that, Paddy Roberts was scythed out on the wing, and again there was a bit of chat with the whole Scott Brown red card the previous week. and Celtic potentially using that as evidence as to, if you're looking for consistency, how the hell can that be a yellow? Scott Brown's a straight red. But they had pretty much shown their intent from the kick-off that they were about to kick everything that moved. That was pretty much their tactics, do you reckon?
Aye, I mean, it was quite clear that they'd given up any pretense of trying to compete with us as a football team. It was, let's intimidate them, let's try to rough them up. And when that failed, it was, let's just try and kick them. And to be quite honest, I mean, that tackle on Paddy was absolutely disgraceful. But the fact is, see, when you're in a position as the Huns and you can do that with impunity, that's basically what they were doing. They knew they could do it and no one was going to call them out on it, so they kept fucking doing it. And it's disgraceful,
Yeah, no, it was a shocker, but I mean, in terms of the start, couldn't have been better, as Paul said as well. If you want a game to pan out a certain way, we couldn't have really hoped for a better start to it in terms of the domination.
Well, the best thing was that it shut them right up. I don't know if you noticed that. I was joking with I had a couple of mates watch the game who weren't really Scottish. They're two English guys, right? They weren't really into football, but we were just having a beer and watching the game together. Yeah. And I joked, when the first goal went in, I said, I'm going to turn up the volume just to hear the fucking silence for the Rangers end.
Yes, yeah.
Because it was just like they were giving it their usual bile, and it was just like, boom, there you go, shut up, and that was it.
Yeah. And I mean, the way it panned out, they obviously came with their party songs and inverted commas before the game and all the rest of it. But I mean, watching it's fair to say that the Sevconians have been going through pain for a number of years just now. But can you see it getting any better for them right now? Because again, we must have read some of the comments that we'd seen posted and tweets that we'd seen posted, whether or not we see them ourselves. But you can't help but see them when you follow social media. But I mean, some of them were I don't know if any of you listened to the Super Scoreboard podcast as well, but there was a few very angry sounding Huns in this, and they just cannot see it improving any time soon. But it didn't take long to quieten down, Pat.
No, I mean that's what it's pretty much all they've got left at the moment, isn't it? They don't have a team that are playing for them. They don't have a team they feel they can support. They've got a manager that I'd say is a fair percentage of them are questioning already. Even the media now are doing the same thing about, they played two players up front, so they haven't really got much going for them apart from their culture. It's the same. I think back, I don't know if you've seen Trainspotting 2, but it's kind of a bit like that. They always revert back to the 1690 and all that. It's mind-boggling. Like, surely there's enough imagination and stuff like that these days, where supporters groups and stuff like that. Surely they've got something better to sing about than that. Sing songs about their former players, and I think they were even the banners. I did a Sandy Jardine one. I didn't see it, but I'd read some sort of Sandy Jardine banner. But even all the stuff that they were kind of putting up there were all kind of anti-Celtic kind of stuff, and it was really if that's what it's come down to, the fact you've got nothing to shout about positively about your own team, that all you can basically do is slag off the other team and raise things about flipping child abuse and stuff like that. Then
that's their bog standard, really.
And that's they're at the gutter. Let's face it, they're not really. They've got nothing else to sing about. You know what I mean? They've got their stadium's fallen down, their team's shit, they're in debt. They're about to go bust again. Surely you'd be. I mean, I remember in our old days when things were going bad, and they'll be singing "Always Look on the Bright Side of Life." That was kind of the.
That's right.
You're walking out to say, I mean, that was this kind of the theme song. You weren't singing stuff about them. You were singing. Well, we're all still together, but it's. But
a different mentality completely.
But that's something I've observed with them. Sorry to interrupt, Pat. That's something I've observed with them is they're Celtic fans. We've always defined ourselves by our love of Celtic, right? To me, the Huns have always defined themselves by what they hate.
Yes.
And it's not just Celtic, it's anything that doesn't fit with their fucking culture. Protestant, unionist, fucking we are the people, master race mentality. Anything that doesn't fit in that mould is the enemy to them, and that's, I think that's really, really sad. And And ultimately, that is why they died. Because, Celtic fans all over the world rallied together in '94 and we saved the club, right? Mm-hmm. But Rangers fans, it's easy to unite around something you love. It's very difficult to unite around a cause when it's based on you hating everything else. And that is the fundamental difference between us and them. I've always maintained that is they're all about hate, we're about the love of our club. And I think that's just why we're better than them.
In all ways, shapes and forms.
Right.
Mark Callahan's in the chat room, and Mark, you've touched on something I was just going to start talking about, because there was quite a bit. Again, it was from listening to the Super Scoreboard podcast, the fallout, I suppose, from the game, and there was a few raging Huns on there. Big fat Derek Johnson was raging himself as well, but there was a lot of perma-rage about Kajinya and his reaction at the end of the game, and how him and Brendan were all hugs and cuddles and stuff like this. And this didn't go down too well with a few of the more knuckle dragging Sevconians and their troops. But Mark's in the chat room, and he's saying, do we think Brendan will take Pedro up on his offer for a few Portuguese wines after the game on Saturday? Now, I guess, Paul, it's this whole thing again about how Celtic fans would react to certain situations and how the Sevconians react to certain situations. Now, there was a lot of rage from a lot of Sevconians about the whole way that Kajinya had come out and, shook hands with Brendan and gave him a bit of a hug after the result. This infuriated them, mate. Absolutely infuriated them. I mean, can you see? Yeah. Can you understand the reasons why that would be the case? Is it just alien to us, mate?
I think in some ways, from the position that they're in, they know that there's all they had was really to come in and stand, kind of united and give it as much as they could and dig deep and really fight for it, and demonstrating the way he came out, like somebody who knows the other coach, and you see that up and down the country. Coaches that that have respect for each other is all good, but for them, I think that was just too much for them to take at the time. They wanted a stern face. They wanted the Dick Advocat kind of look.
Yes,
so somebody who was just there for them and superior and everything. And I think the one that really got them was more at the end as opposed to the start, because you can always come out and everything's okay, but at the end of the game, I think the kind of smile and the joke, that was a picture I seen on a Twitter page anyway, that I think that seemed to be the bit that let them loose.
Yes, it enraged them, that's for sure. And even one of their own, Pat, I don't know if you saw this one, but it was I think it was Jim White at the Players Player of the Year Awards or something like this, and it was a tweet about all smiles. Yeah. Plenty of reasons to be all smiles here or something like that. And even Jim White get dogs abuse for that. Nothing to be smiling about.
Yeah,
I mean,
it just shows, I think, how hard, I think reality is now beginning to kick in. This time last year, they were getting promoted. They were coming in. They were going to win. It was going to be theirs. It was everything was going to be restored for a new club. And the whole fantasy is just unravelling. I think as well that there's going to be a bit of a realisation in the next week or so with the court case that a lot of the stuff that was not talked about in the Scottish media, but was on forums and blogs, etc., and obviously on a lot of Celtic websites that they denied, is now actually coming, not only being shown, but it's actually worse than I think a lot of people actually thought of. Where Smith was, and what Murray was actually doing, and what they knew. And to me, it's still amazing that the media is not really, really portraying this court case the way they should. They're still kind of just giving you snippets, and it's absolutely massive. If that was at any other football club in the world, it would be the first thing on the news. It really is. It's damaging from the neglect for safety at a stadium, which is shocking when you think of some of the tragedies that have actually happened, not just there but in the UK. To neglect that is just unforgivable. Just to put it all into the mentality of we need to buy players, we need to keep spending money to win.
That's right.
Because there's no talent, there's no development, there's no youth. But it doesn't matter if the stadium's crumbling. We need to spend $4 million. And then also I think the Champions League tax thing is now that's been blown wide open. That they knew well in advance of submitting the request, and the SFA knew that. So that really, to me, opens up the.
It's all going to come out in the wash.
Yep.
We would hope. But again, it's as you touched on there, Paul. It's as if the press are still obviously in their pocket. They have been for a long time. So even although personnel have changed at Sevco, they still get the media, their lapdogs in their pocket. So whether it's Jim Traynor still manipulating them or whatever in there, because as you say, this should be a massive, massive story what's going through the courts just now, and it's only thanks to James Dolman on Twitter that those who choose to can keep up with actually what's being said in there, whereas the press just seem to be picking out the little tidbits that they want to, and they'll make their own minds up. And I get the thing you mentioned as well, though, Paul, about how when Sevco got their promotion and they were going to be up and everything was going to be restored back to normal as they would have portrayed it. I think they were the only ones that really believed that themselves in the Scottish press. I don't think any of us thought they were going to win the league. I think we thought they were certainly going to be top half of the table. That's for sure. I think I remember thinking back and saying that I thought Celtic would be winning it. A little bit of a battle between second and third between Aberdeen and Hearts, and I thought Sevco would come in fourth. So they're going to do one place better than I thought they might have done, but that's probably just because Hearts have been poorer.
Yep.
Yeah, they have.
I totally agree. I think that Aberdeen have even though I think they should be doing better than what they have after 3 years of building on success and keeping a team together. But they were by far the second place team at the start of the season. The whole thing still comes to when Sevco was set up and the contract and everything given to McCoist. To be playing 3 divisions down and starting again and not going with youth and still having, I think at that time he had 7 international players and guys still the second biggest wage bill.
Yeah.
And that's where it starts. Had they went down the route that Hearts did when they
took their medicine
and went with youth and gave them a full season, and then 2 years later they've got some very, very good young players who have played a lot of professional games of football at Hearts. Rangers could have done that themselves. They could have saved all that money, fixed the stadium, and actually come into the league with maybe a year just to settle, and then they would actually be in a firm foot. But they chose to go exactly the same route as before, which was just to burden themselves with more debt, cheat, and they're going to be in the same place. I actually thought before now, but look, it's a long time to Christmas if you don't sell season tickets on the back of Kenny Miller signing.
Yes, absolutely.
That is it exactly in a nutshell.
And by the way, today's court case has been postponed because one of the jurors was ill. I saw that a bit earlier as well. So that's my bedtime reading. I've been reading the James Dolman tweets.
Okay.
So I could brush my teeth, lie in bed and read that for half an hour. But even to the point where you read the stuff about what David Murray was saying, that we couldn't have afforded to buy those players without EBTs. It's like, well, that's a fairly big admission to make in court, under oath and stuff like that. But Jesus crikey. I mean, the good thing is it is actually getting in the press a little bit. You'd think it'd be a lot kind of more wider scale, but I was actually chatting to a contractor coming to our place today, a Dundee United fan. I was chatting to him about, and he's obviously Dundonian, but big Dundee United fan, and the thoughts are not even non-Celtic fans, I guess, are exactly the same. But this has just been hidden by the press for for how many years and stuff like that. So I goes, have you seen the game on Sunday? Did you see any of it? He goes, nah. He goes, I wouldn't watch it unless it was his team, which is fair enough. Yeah. So I showed him the Paddy Roberts tackle, and he went, "Oh my fucking god!"
Yeah.
He goes, "Did he get sent off?" I went, "Well, he got a booking." He goes, "But that was it."
Mm-hmm.
And he's going, "That is ridiculous." So then I thought, I'm on a bit of a roll here. So I showed him the Ross County one, and he just laughed. He was just pissed himself laughing. He goes, "Where's the referee?" He goes, "Where's the linesman?" I goes, "Don't forget the fourth official as well." So all three of them made that a penalty. I gave that as a penalty. So it's not just our fans that think that way. It's the way he put it was a whole Masonic conspiracy. I goes, well, I think it goes beyond the Masons in this one. They're certainly involved in it all, but I think that's it's going beyond them with David Murray and his cohorts. But yeah, anyway, I just thought it was interesting. The fact I just thought I'd try test the waters a little bit and just see what he thought. But yeah, pretty much the same as us. And he starts talking about games that they played against United, like cup final game, and some guy was running through and get pulled back by the waist. He's just about to take a shot, and he goes, never even get booking or a penalty or anything for it. So there's certainly a feeling of injustice for other clubs as well, not just us.
Oh, I think so. I mean, the attention always comes on us because, again, we're probably the more vocal of, I guess, looking for some kind of fairness or equity in the league. But cast your minds back to when the votes were happening, and let's not forget that the SFA were simply trying to demote Sevco when they went into their shenanigans and they effectively get liquidated. Remember, they were trying to shoehorn them in as if they were the same club, same entity, all the rest of it. There was none of this. I actually had to go to a bloody vote rather than just it makes complete sense. If they're a new club, new entity, you've got to start from the bottom. So I mean, they were trying to even bend the rules then, but it's only then that you actually started to hear what the other fans were thinking. And I'm sure there was plenty of us at the time thinking when it was going to go to the vote that there would be a lot of fans from other clubs or a lot of other clubs that would have voted to, potentially help themselves by not doing the right thing. So trying to keep them close by so that, they get their 2 gates at Ibrox every season or whatever. But to be fair to them all, they did do the right thing. What was your man's name from Wraith Rovers? Was it Turnbull or something? Was it
Turnbull Hutton?
Turnbull Hutton, who took dog's abuse for his outwardly spoken kind of stance on it. Because at that time, the Celtic board weren't saying too much on it as well, because they daren't say too much on it because they would have got absolutely slaughtered. But I think behind the scenes, they kind of knew what was going to be happening. But he was a guy that came out and spoke what everybody else was really wanting to see. But as you say, Pat, every single team, I think, is whether some Celtic fans believe it or not, there's plenty of other supporters of Scottish football teams that absolutely detest them. Even though there used to be this myth of what team do you support? Motherwell. Aye, but who do you really support? I think there's still a lot. I think there's still a lot of our fans don't get how people can be so passionate about a provincial club and not have a soft spot, a very soft spot for the green, either the green and white or the blue and white. But
that's the funny thing, actually. To go on that point. One of my mates in Tokyo, he's a Jambo, right? And no love for Celtic there at all, right?
No, absolutely
but
not.
We talked about it, and he actually said, "Look, you know what? He says, it's going to cost my team money if the Huns have to go to the 3rd division and start again." Yep. He says, "But do you know what? If I want to watch something that's fucking rigged, I'll watch the WWF wrestling."
Yes.
He said, basically, if we allow them to piss all over us by taking, show no respect for the rules whatsoever, and then just let them back in as Northampton. He said it's the same as fucking Hulk Hogan. They said that's basically what we're saying. We're the Hulk Hogan and fucking Macho Man of world football if we do that. It's a non-starter.
It was just shocking, the audacity of the SFA or the SPL or whoever was the body that was involved in it at the time. Though they were effectively trying to manipulate it so that was never even going to get considered. It was like, this is what's going to happen here. Nobody will pipe up about it, and it'll be business as usual within a season. Thank you very much.
What got me was the outrage for the Huns. It's like, guys, don't you realise the favour that we're doing you by letting you into the third division?
Yes,
there are plenty of other teams that are more deserving of a place than you are. That have followed the rules and have got 3 years of accounts. I mean, there were so many rules that were violated just to let them into the third division.
That's right.
But no, they always say, "Oh no, you put us down, and everybody hates us." It's like, no, you fucking broke the rules and you were held accountable for it. If anything, you were not held accountable enough.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's great to reminisce about this, boys.
Well, I mean, the SFA are still culpable, though. I mean, the whole thing about fit and proper, and that's still ongoing. The fact that you've got flipping RC Ogilvy,
correct,
sort of in there as well, and the fact
RC in name only,
yeah, and the fact that he's still in there, and that's kind of the bit that gets a maggot probably as much as anything. The Huns, they can stay in their own little kind of bubble if they want, but you're meant to have the sort of the main sort of footballing body in the country is meant to be representing all of them, but they seem to have this agenda for one club, and that's kind of the bit that just bugs me a little bit. It's just the fact, like, grow up here and actually stand up to them. I mean, part of me says, yeah, they should beat them. Part of me thinks of, when anyone seems to actually stand up against them, they end up getting targeted. And it seems this mass, I mean, fair dues to Turnbull Hutton for actually doing it. I'm not sure I would have. I wouldn't have stuck my head above the parapet, I guess, to do that, because you just know what's coming your way. And he I think he did. He and the club, I think, got targeted for a fair bit of it. But
they did.
As brave as he was, but it's and all this stuff that's coming out now. I mean, I don't know if anything will actually come out of the Craig White. Not so much come out of the trial, but the I guess the flow-on effect in the SFA or into things that they did or didn't do. Whether there's going to be,
I think it will. I think that's going to be the real crux of it, because that then underpins what everyone's saying about the how embedded the cheating is, and how it actually goes through every single level of the governing body. And at the end of the day, that's all they're there for. They get government money to run and govern a sport to make sure that it's fit for purpose. And they bend the rules for one club every single time. They didn't for others. Other clubs they let disappear. Livingston, when they came back from administration, almost went bankrupt again because they had to pay $750,000 as a bond in case they didn't make the season through. They didn't do that with a new club that that was they had no idea what and who was actually running it. So I really hope that is the bit that comes through. We all know the story of Rangers and what happened. I think this is just telling us the truth. But what we don't really know is who knew and who really made the decisions at the SFA to turn a blind eye. And I think that's what this court case, I think, will hopefully shine through.
It'll flush out. I think you're right, Paul. I mean, for the SFA not to know the financial situation or I guess the trouble that they were in, and Ogilvy being so close to Rangers at the time as well, they must have known there was something up. The whole thing about the licensing, the EBT stuff again, did the SFA not know anything about that? I'm not so sure. Was Ogilvy himself not actually getting paid some EBTs as well? So they must have known how dodgy that stuff was.
He was. He got the job. He got the job on the back of being an administrator who knew the game and the running of a club inside out. So he knows. He knew everything. He would have been privy to the advice they got, because he would have been nervous as an administrator. He would know that they were told it was bending the rules, and hence to keep the second letter in the contract secret. And then he just turned a blind eye doing that to his other employers. So I mean, he's if it was I guess in another country, I think he'd be held in court for that, because it's fraud from what I can see. But he certainly knew what was going on. He just decided either to not tell anyone at the SFA, or he briefed them, and collectively at a certain level, it was decided, don't worry, as long as they stay where they are, and we'll get them into the Champions League. They'll get 10 million. They'll pay the thing. We'll brush over it. Nobody will know. Business as usual. So
yeah. And again, if this was any other business, if there was enough heat getting put on you, you would cut your losses and say, right, it's maybe not in the best interest here for you still to be involved in this setup here. Here's a little payout, disappear into the background, and the trouble's gone. But the man's still involved. Yeah, still involved at a senior level.
It's because there's no heat, Kev.
No, and that's it, exactly. But I think hopefully, as Paul's suggesting, indirectly this court case might flush out a bit more. But I guess it's in public record. If it's a court case, the transcript of everything that gets said. I know James Dolman's doing a fantastic job on Twitter, but I'm pretty sure. I've never looked into court cases before, but I'm pretty sure if it's in the public domain,
it's all made public record at the end of the case.
Okay. So the whole transcript is. You would think that as a secondary piece of information, that a lot of this SFA stuff has got to come out in the wash, basically, if they're asking the right questions. It's quite ironic that Donald Finlay QC is heavily involved in this as well, and he's trying to. Is he actually the case for the prosecution, or is he the defence?
This is the biggest ironical part about it. Really, is the fact that it's one of their own that's actually flushing this out. You know what I mean? It's bizarre. You know, it's Hun on Hun, really, isn't it? Let's face it.
Bit of Hun on Hun action.
Exactly. But anyway, we digress from the game. We should be talking about the game. Let's get back to that.
We should have been. Well, we'll because we're trying to keep this short, so we better move on to the preview now for Saturday coming up.
There's a little bit. I mean, even for example, like the team. Did anyone went through the team last week? Who we think, but did anyone actually get it right? Did anyone pick McGregor? I think a few of us picked Roberts and stuff like that. But I guess the segue to the next one is obviously Brown's out.
Oh wait a minute! You forgot about the score predictions, Patrick. I do believe I predicted 2-0.
Yeah,
and I did have
swiftly move on from that.
I did have Scott Sinclair as well, one of the goal scorers.
That's not on the running list. Okay, let's move on. So
there was no overhead.
Fair, there wasn't an overhead kick though. Definitely this weekend though. Absolutely, definitely this weekend. First things first. What happened to the Rangers goalkeeper that was injured? Did anyone actually find out what was happening there?
Well, no, he just played, didn't he? He wasn't injured at all.
That's it, yeah. You think that was some tactic to scare us? Ooh, sort of spooky scare us. Ooh, Fodringham's out. Ooh.
Didn't really work very well, did it? He was starting for the first goal that smashed past into the net.
Oh, that was a fair strike. I mean, not a fair strike. It was a well placed, shot. He was blindsided. The ball curled. Like if you actually look at it, the amount of curl the ball did in the last sort of probably 5-6 yards was pretty spectacular. It was a well taken goal, and I think the fact he was blindsided means he kind of made no effort to even get there. But I doubt there'd be many keepers in the world would have saved that. To be honest with you, it was that far off. Was his angles right or wrong? Yeah, well, it's hard to say, but I don't think. I mean, it'd be nice if we wasn't playing even for Saturday as well. It'd be, I think the whole thing with Brown sort of out. Well, which I'm assuming he's going to be out suspended, but he may well get past it. Who knows? But
when is the hearing actually? Is it not meant to be this week?
Well, it'd have to be this week sometime.
Our appeal.
Yeah, well, it's going to be soon because the game's only a couple of days away. So I haven't heard anything about it. Whether it's
I thought it was today. But
okay.
Yeah.
I think you have to make the assumption that he won't play, and I don't think there's any doubt. There's not many. I can't see how on earth he would not. He'd get through that appeal. I think that's a bit far-fetched. I reckon. I think there's obviously unless some favours are pulled, I'm not sure they can use that Paddy Roberts tackle. I know they were talking about, well, if that one was only a booking in terms of the severity of it, as the Scott Brown one, is that should that have been a sending off? But I don't know. I'm not sure they can use that as a as evidence for it, but it'd be nice to actually have him there on Saturday. Because let's face it, Brown bossed that game pretty much start to finish, and taking him out of there, that's probably my only worry for Saturday is really like who we're going to put in there. I mean, Dembele's out injured, but Griffiths played okay, I reckon, when he came on. Not brilliant. I didn't think he did well for the penalty.
Won us the penalty. Yep.
Won us the penalty. That apparently, according to Tavernier, wasn't a penalty. I mean, seriously.
Nonsense.
Oh my god! I couldn't be. When I heard that after, it was like, it's so blatant.
The Rangers TV commentator certainly didn't think it was a penalty.
Oh, that was a great tackle.
He was applauding the tackle.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think with Brown out, it's a fairly big gap to fill because when you got somebody who controls the game that much, and they will, if of any sense, they'll learn from the mistake they made. They won't do the two attackers. They'll pack the midfield and all that sort of stuff. Not that they've got much to bring in there, but I'm not sure we have much really either. I mean, Kouassi, does he go in there? Does Beaton go in? I don't know.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that for a second then, because I guess they're the kind of options. So Damien Gallagher in the chat room, he's confirmed that Brown's definitely out. So even if the red card is reduced to a yellow, apparently because he's accumulated so many points, he's banned for this particular fixture anyway. So we'll take that as fact. Mark Callahan's confirmed as well that the appeal is today. So we'll find out how that goes. But so let's just assume that Brown's out. So who would we replace? There's a couple of options, I suppose, that we've got. You mentioned one there, Pat, Kouassi, who we've not seen a huge amount of. I've been impressed of him. One of the games he started, I can't remember who we were up against. I don't know, was it maybe the Partick Thistle game or something? But I think he's only started one game for us. He's come on as a sub in a couple of games. But I was quite impressed, I remember, just with his, nothing too fancy, but he's got a bit of physicality about him. He's got a bit of a presence, and he does the simple things. And I think for this type of game, the only doubt you'd have is throwing him into this particular fixture at Ibrox when there's going to be a lot of venom in the stands, and how would he cope with that? But I guess there's some other options as well. Liam Henderson was one that was mentioned to me today, who I had completely forgotten about, if truth be told. But Henderson's another player that can play that more kind of defensive role. He's certainly not afraid to put himself about and put himself into a tackle. But I guess, Liam, I'll ask you first of all. Brown's definitely out. What do you do? Do you go for a kind of like-for-like type of replacement there? Juggle things around to try and accommodate one of the more attacking players? How would you, if you were in Brendan's shoes, who would you be putting in to replace Brown?
I mean, this is going to sound stupid, but it's actually a shame that we still have this unbeaten run, because I'd like to just field a reserve team against them. League's won, it's a nothing game, and it would just give them something to think about. But no, I'd maybe give Eboué a run out. I think it's time to let him show what he can do. And, he'll have been watching that game on Sunday and he'll be like, oh, God, I've nothing to fear for this mob, And I think it would actually be a good game to see what he's about. Because if he does a Lubo and steps up and scores on his Old Firm debut, it's like it will set him up for the rest of his Celtic career. And if he doesn't have a good game, you're like, well, it's a nothing game anyway, But it would just be a good time to bring in a new player, I think, and just see what they can do. So I'd just go a straight swap, take Brown out and put Eboué in. That'd be my shout.
Paul, Brown's out. Who do you put in?
Kind of similar thoughts myself. Obviously having 88 on his shirt as well. I think it's a good place for him to get in there and have his first real battle. But I think probably, I guess with Dembele out as well, we might have to look at the actual structure of the team. I know when we had Griffiths out and Dembele, we changed the team quite dramatically. So,
that's right.
But I still think Henderson's probably a safer bet just to play him there. I think he would do the job really well. I mean, I think Brown had an outstanding game, but in fairness, he was not put under pressure. Their formation, they had a massive gap between the back line of defence and the Hair Bear bunch up front who are just running around, chopping and changing, and actually running the ball out the park. I mean, that was one of the highlights of the game.
Waghorn Pen sprinting down that line.
I actually thought he took it out on the side before he actually ran out the park. But just absolute talentless. So he might actually look at something completely different. But I think between the two of them, I think Henderson's an easier change for Brown, and then you're not really changing too much. Keep McGregor. Almost start with the same lineup with Griffiths up top if possible. But I think it's going to be similar. They will not allow Celtic to have that 10-15 minutes that we did last weekend. They'll
certainly try.
They'll have to give it everything, even if it really, really is just crazy football, but just to get the fans on their side. But yeah.
I mean, Pat, if you're Brendan Rodgers, who do you go to replace Brown? So we've got some thoughts on Kouassi, Henderson. Do you see it being any different at all?
Oh, it depends. I mean, do you think Armstrong could play that sort of slightly more defensive kind of role?
I think he could, but I don't think he's as effective playing that kind of role. I think he's certainly more effective in that kind of more progressive forward type of midfielder, attacking midfielder rather than defensive. So I think he'd be wasted if we try to play him in that kind of role. I think we do have either one of those two, Kouassi or Henderson, I think could do the job, and there's pros and cons for each of them. I think the only slight downside with Henderson, I think, is that he's not been involved in action for quite a while. But he certainly knows what that fixture's all about. He's capable. He's hard as nails as well, I think, Liam Henderson. So I'm honestly not that fussed. I'd much prefer if Brown was going to be playing, but either the two of them, I'd still much rather try and keep the shape of the team as close to what it's been recently. Dembele's also going to be missing, so Griff, he'll play from the start. He certainly won't be able to hold the ball up as well as Dembele can, but he'll have more shots on goal than Dembele would in a game.
The reason I was asking about Armstrong playing slightly deeper is that you can bring in Rogic to play the number 10 role, and then Armstrong drops back. But I'll throw one in here for you. Here's a bit of a wild card about Sviatchenko.
In that middle of the park.
That could work.
The only reason I'd be hesitant is just not tried and tested. Damien Gallagher again in the chat room's thrown out Beaton again, but we mentioned, or Paul, you'd mentioned him right at the start, I think, there as well, but similar type of player. But what's your thoughts on throwing Beaton into that? He's certainly used to the fixture, he's used to the game, but would you play him ahead of the guys we've mentioned just now?
There's an element that would say, yes, because he's had more game time and he's played in more of those games. I just think that he won't be there next year. I think that decision was made a while ago, and I think Henderson is, if he is going to, if we are looking at him to still be there next year, I think it'd be a better game to put him in. But I think that might be the decision. It might be about the long-term element of it as opposed to just winning the game for the selection. But look, I think the beauty of this is that we're looking at it with quality play. I mean, we're looking at international players, and we're looking at top young players actually in a £3 million or a €3 million player. Coming into a position. I think that shows how comfortable we are in the fact that I think Brendan Rodgers said before the last game that he's got almost an entire squad fit and available, which is exactly where you want to be at this time in the season. Make it hard for the manager to pick the team. So I think any one of those three would more than capably run that midfield. So happy with any of these decisions. But I would like to see Liam Henderson given a chance.
Yep. No good. Liam, Beaton, would they factor in your plans?
I'm not a fan of Beaton, I'll be honest. I mean, he's a good enough player, but I just don't think he's the quality of the other players that we've got.
I think no, I've got a similar view. I must admit, I agree with Paul. I don't think he will be there next season. I think he'll be one that will move on. I think for me, it's just he tends to slow our play down a bit when he's involved. I think it's just his style. It's just the way the guy is.
He's the sort of player that I think could probably go to maybe Italy or one of the Central European leagues and be really good. Because there you get time on the ball, you can pass it around, you can build it up. You can't do that in Scotland. You've not got time.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's what
it doesn't suit his style of play. I mean, Ki Sung Young was similar. If you remember Ki Sung Young,
yes,
he went down to England and was a phenomenal player because there the style of play there is a bit slower, more methodical, and it suited his game better. In Scotland, games tended to pass him by. And I think it's the same problem with Beaton to some extent. It's just that he's a good player, but he's not a good Scottish player,
Yeah.
And it's probably more a flaw in our league than it is a flaw with him. But the fact is, you need players who can play well in the Scottish league here. And
that's it.
That isn't him. So, yeah.
I think whoever he puts in or chooses anyway, I think it's fair to say in Brendan we trust. So no matter who he throws in there, I think he's done enough to say he knows a bit better than ourselves as to who can do the job for him on Saturday. In terms of, I guess I think we should really try to wind it up as well, Patrick. So unless anybody's got anything else, let's go on to the old predictions ahead of it. So bearing in mind that I got the correct score last week, not to put any pressure on you boys. But let's go for Patrick. First of all, you score predictions and goal scorers.
I reckon I'm going to go same as last week, 2-1. I reckon they've all got a goal this time. It'll be dodgy as hell, penalty or something. But we should beat them. I think there was such a big gap on the game on Sunday there that taking Brown out of it will make a difference. But it shouldn't be enough to shorten the gap to make them equivalent or equal to, the ability that we have. So, 2-1. It's on their own dung heap, Don't know. So scorers. I was going to say Griffiths, but I'll be honest with you, Griffiths is annoying me at the moment with some of the things that he does. Like I don't know, he's trying a bit too hard, I reckon, when he comes on. In some of these games, rather than doing the team thing, I think he's like the free kick he took. Remember, it was out in the right wing, and it was like at such a tight angle. It was unless maybe he saw the Ryan Christie goal from the day before or something, and thought, I can do a bit of that. But no, I was that sort of stuff. I find it just annoys me about him. Don't play the.
You can kind of understand it. He's got a point to prove, obviously.
Yeah, you do, but there's right and wrong moments to do that.
Yeah.
And doing what he did to get through and get the penalty and stuff like that was the right thing to do. He put his, an EFL term, he put his body on the line. He knew he was going to get crunched. And that's, who knows, it could be a bad tackle that you end up going off. But I think things like, I don't know, just the that free kick just, I guess, bugged me a little bit. But not sure if I can give him a goal. Sinclair, yes, I think he'll continue that sort of form. And actually, bollocks, I'll go for the same goal scorers. I'll go for McGregor and Sinclair.
McGregor and Sinclair.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep, the Huns.
2-1.
Yep, they'll score first. We'll come back.
We don't want. Yeah, we don't even speak about theirs. Who scores theirs? So 2-1 for you.
There you go. Wycon.
Wycon pen.
He'll keep running. He'll keep running with the ball straight through the net. He'll break the net and everything. It'll just be head down. Doesn't have a fucking clue. Who's the referee?
Assuming Wycon can get past the halfway line for having a heart attack,
Who's the referee? I forget now for Saturday.
Some guy told me today who it is. Can't remember either.
Yeah,
Mason McBoyne for Lark Hall, I guess.
Aye.
That's the chap. I'm sure somebody in the chat room will tell us shortly. We'll see in a minute.
I'll check.
Liam, what about your own score predictions?
I'll go for, you know what, I think we're going to stuff them 4-0. 4-0.
And goal scorers?
Goal scorers. I think Griff's going to get a hat trick because, like you say, he's got a point to prove.
Mm-hmm.
So Griff is hat trick and Sinclair.
And Sinky again. That would be nice. A wee 4-0 to round off the Hunskelping season dramatically. Paul, how do you see this one going?
Look, I think it'll be the same. Maybe a tighter first half, I think, but I see it 3-1 victory. Mm-hmm. And I think Griffiths as well he'll score. I think Roberts, and I'm going to go for somebody that I just hope actually gets at least put on the bench, which is Jack Atkinson. I think.
Yes, yeah.
I think what's been happening in the last couple of weeks, he deserves a crack at it. And I remember Sean Maloney coming on.
Yes.
And I think that just
tapping really at the back post.
Yeah, so that would be a nice third goal. 2 minutes to go, empty stands. I think that'd be great.
Wee bit of a wild card there as well, Paul. That'd be nice if it happens, mate.
Oh, definitely. Take that.
I think, sorry to be boring again, boys, but I'm going for another 2-0. I don't think this game. I know it's played at their stadium, and it's not going to be as comfortable for us. I don't think they are going to come out kicking and screaming. I still think we will try and control the game as we did, but we'll be able to hit them on the counter. I think they'll have certainly a little bit more possession. I wouldn't be surprised if we try and sit back a little bit more, but I still think we'll get goals in us because they'll leave themselves exposed at the back. They are going to try and do absolutely everything they can to try and win the game, because they'll want to. That'll be the only little bit of light that they've got out of this season if they can stop our unbeaten run. They've tried and failed miserably in every cup competition this season. They will be going all out to maim, make our lives hell from the word go. So we've got to be ready for that, and I'm sure Rodgers will have the players ready for that in their mindsets. But I think we will be able to pick them off, and without really playing at 100%. I think we'll still be able to do them 2-0, and I'm going to go for Griff. I'm going to go for a goal for Griff in this game. And I'm going to stick with Scotty Sinclair again. He's turning into a bit of a Hunskelper. So that's what I'll go for. Same scoreline, same kind of scoreline. The other thing that did cross my mind though was a possible 3-0. If you cast your mind back to remember the good old, if you're of this kind of an age, the good old St Patrick's Day massacre, Palm Sunday humiliation, which were back to backs. I think one was a 2-0, the other was a 3-0. I think
lots of red cards and lots of red cards between those games.
Cards, that's right. So there's just something niggling in the back of my mind that this could be the 3-0 one, whether that kind of sucker punch type goal. Maybe not as dominating a performance, but we might even get the scoreline might look even better in this one. So, but yeah, if I had to put money on it, I'll be going with 2-0 again, lads. 2-0, comfortable win. Game's a bogey. Safe goal. So,
right.
Tom Doherty confirmed that the ref is John Beaton.
John Cheaton Beaton. That's it.
John Cheaton Beaton is the referee for Saturday night. So, guys, where are we watching it then? It's again over in WA. We've got a beautiful 7 p.m. kick-off on a Saturday evening. How good is that? You could not handpick a better time for a game of football to start on a Saturday. Get all your family-wamily stuff done during the day. No pressure from Mrs. O'Neill or anything, because you can do all the stuff during the day. And then down to Murphy's. In fact, that's not going to be the plan at all anyway, because this is going to be an early descent on Murphy's. I think 3 o'clock in the afternoon we're meeting up. just because we can. No work the following day. So none of this. Usually I'll drink, as I did on Sunday night. If I'm working the next day, I'll usually go on the old hand 3.5s. or something similar, some kind of mid-strength beer, so that I can still feel as if I'm drinking, but I never feel quite as bad the next day. But there'll be none of that nonsense on Saturday night. It'll be Heineken Schmeineken for me, I think. And yeah, it should be a great night in Murphy's with the Mandra CSC. 7 p.m. kickoff. What about yourself, Paul? Where will you be watching it this time round, mate?
Back at the Elephant Wheelbarrow. Looking forward to that. I think it's Stevie Cunningham. I think is the guy who's playing before and after. So I reckon we'll have a great crowd in. I reckon it will be absolutely jumping.
9 o'clock on a Saturday night in the early.
Yeah, exactly. It's perfect. It's not been. Can't even think the last time that there was a game on that time on a Saturday. So looking forward to that.
Yeah,
no, it should be good.
By the way, Paul's Bardy's never getting in that place ever again. It's unbelievable. That's same.
Elaborate, Patrick. Elaborate.
Oh no, I can't. Not in a public forum. Kev. It's just not fair. No, I guess same for anyone in Melbourne area. Jockstein CSC. It's in Fitzroy Street in St Kilda. We had a big crowd for the game last Sunday, so again probably expecting. I know. Surprisingly, ticket sales are a little bit slow compared to what we'd normally expect, but I'm sure there'll be that sort of last-minute rush and people rocking up just try to get in. But I reckon there'll be, for the fact that how many people were there on Sunday, I reckon you'd at least double it, even treble it for a Saturday night. But people obviously got their own lives and doing their own sort of own social things. But I'm with you, Kev. Perfect time on Saturday night, even for us. 9 o'clock, you do your own thing. Yeah. During the day, kids sport and all that sort of thing, and then rock up there, a couple of beers before it, watch it, Hunskelping, and then somehow, God knows how, but somehow get home. Doesn't matter. Whether you have to walk 20 k's to get home, doesn't matter, you get home somehow.
No, that's good. And Liam, the Osaka CSC, with yourself as president, treasurer, secretary, the lot. What's your plans for Saturday? 8 p.m. kick-off, I believe, for you in Osaka.
Yeah, so we're probably going to meet a few of the boys, go for a curry, probably about 6 o'clock. And then there's a really nice Tibetan curry place just across the road from the house. So we'll head over there, get a curry, and back here and watch the game, I think.
Very good. And
I'll need to be a good boy because I'm working this Sunday, so I've got to be good.
Oh dear. And is it fellow Celtic fans you'll be watching the game with? Or any Sevconians?
One misguided soul who's a nice guy but happens to be a Sevconian, and a few other mates who wouldn't identify as Celtic fans, but I've converted them to the cause. Well done.
You'll need another couple of people to be on the committee of the Osaka CSC, so you'll need to try and convert somebody. All good, lads. So it's all positive with this. No negatives at all, boys. Absolutely nothing negative in our lives or news regarding Celtic.
No,
doesn't sound like it. Long may it continue.
Just reading here,
still got a cup final as well to come up.
Still got a cup final to go. Pat, what did you say before we came on air as well? That Celtic have managed to win 6 Glasgow Derby matches at different levels of football in the last 7 days. We've had the youths win the Glasgow Cup final. We had the development team winning. We had the big team doing a bit of Hunskelping last Sunday. We've won the under 12s or under 13s or whatever.
13s and 14s is the same thing.
We're just scalping them. The Huns will be perma-raging again. They'll be all over Super Scoreboard.
So they
just cannot do anything to beat us right now.
Yep, so from
at any level.
Joe McHugh at Video Celt, so he's got not content with victories in the Glasgow Cup, Scottish Cup and SFA Youth Cup. On Monday night, Celtic got the better of the Murray Park All-Stars under 14 and under 13 age groups. So 3-1 win for the under 13s and a 2-1 win for the under 14s. So you wouldn't want to be the one team that probably gets beat by, like an under 11s or something like that. They'd be the black sheep.
True.
You'd be feeling pretty bad if So no pressure, boys. All those under 11s, no pressure.
Let's hope that the first team keep up their winning ways against them on Saturday night as well, because that'll be as you said, Paul, we've got a cup final as well to look forward to, and I'm sure we'll do another pod before that. But yeah, I think it's all looking good for another blissful weekend being a Celtic fan, lads.
Yeah, but if you think about it, I mean, how many? I think forget what podcast it was, but I think we spoke about can we get through the year unbeaten in sort of domestic competitions, and what's we got left? Six games left. Is that right? 6, 5. In the league,
Five.
In the league, and then
Yeah.
cup final.
Sorry, 6. Yeah. Yep. That's right. Yeah.
So we're that close to it. You know,
achievable. Yeah.
I know. I didn't think they could do it. I just, I think that sort of level of consistency is hard to keep up. But my God, you're only 6 games away from it. So let's hope we can get there. I mean, probably. Well, we've got 2 tough games. We've got the game on Saturday, and then got to go to Pittodrie as well in a couple of weeks' time. So, which is on a Friday night, Kev.
It is, yes. There's a couple of little midweek affairs, which isn't great for us over on this side of the world, of course. But in terms of timing, but I'll get up and watch them. Well, yeah, the Friday night is early Saturday morning.
5:45.
So yeah, that's not too bad a time for you guys actually. But no, we set an alarm anyway. Always do. I can't help myself. If I know they're playing, I wouldn't be sleeping anyway. So I've got to watch them.
Oh, especially these days. I was actually saying that to the Dundee United fan today. It's like, last year was a bit of a chore sometimes. But I was waking up 2 in the morning, it's, oh God. You'd no sort of real desire to do it. It's like, oh my God, I'm too tired, I can't be bothered. But this year it's like every game, you don't want to miss anything. Whether it's, whatever time of the night or morning it is, you just want to see everything that's going on. And I guess we're not quite over there. It's it's kind of one of the things you don't get to experience it the same way people back there do, but you're still there, kind of lending your support, I guess, in a roundabout way. But yeah. So anyway, roll on Saturday,
lads. Well, we'll wind it up, guys. But thanks to everybody that's left messages there in the chat room.
Sorry, I had one more shout out, Kev. One more shout out.
Oh yes,
yeah, it was Jim Gallagher on Twitter. I don't know what's his Twitter handle. What is it? Sorry, Jim Fitzpatrick, not Jim Gallagher. Jim Fitzpatrick, Jim Fitz67. He sent us a tweet saying that Jinxie Johnson on YouTube is back under a new name. So,
you mentioned that in the last podcast, didn't you?
Yeah. So there you go. Mark Callahan's just put in the chat room that I think Bhoys are on tonight as well.
Okay.
Obviously, won't be as good as this podcast, but anyway. So Mark, let's look out for the Bhoys. They're on at 7:45 at Celtic Park time for live Hunskelping number 5. He says. So tune in to those guys because they are totally fucking bonkers. And if we don't give them a shout out, well, I think they're threatening to do our heads in, Kev. And they are from Castlemilk. So.
All good. Right, lads, we shall call it a day. Enjoy Saturday. Stay safe, everyone. Let's hope it's another Hunskelping, and we shall chat to you all again very soon. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.
Hail, hail. Cheers, lads.